Senior Living on Location is produced by Senior Living Media, celebrating seniors in our community.
It wasn't so long ago that gardening was a way of life, not a hobby. Now, for some, you could say it's a hobby and a way of life. Carrie Nelson had a career in academia. Tired of her work and seeking a change, Carrie and her husband purchased 10 acres near Shawnigan Lake on Vancouver Island. Carrie was a keen camper, adventure traveler, loved the outdoors, and had a passion for gardening. Very quickly, her personal passion and her amazing property turned into an opportunity to sell some of her plants, and in turn, her nursery was born.
I was actually off work for about a year. I had a deferred leave, which you pay into and then you take a year off. And I decided not to go back, so I took my retirement. I used to be a principal at what was then Malaspina University College, which is now Vancouver Island University. And I did that for 9 years, and I decided I wanted to change. So I did that. I built a greenhouse and had no intention of starting a nursery, but the greenhouse was a gift to myself for my retirement. And from there it just took off and totally got out of control. And then when I got the greenhouse going, I really decided that I liked propagating plants from cuttings or from seed or whatever. And that's what really took off and expanded the garden.
Carrie's retirement is now consumed with running a profitable nursery with many unique specialties. She has one part-time employee to help her with running the nursery. The rest she does on her own, seasonally, and under her own direction. Her focus right now is the experimental garden, which includes propagation techniques and finding out what works for cuttings given the local environment, temperature, and conditions. Her curiosity in this area was spurred on by her initial practice of taking one thing and planting it in her own garden so that she could see how it grew and how it takes to the local climate.
You can go online and look up deer-proof lists. Well, forget that. So I experiment. I don't have anything in my nursery that I say is deer-proof unless I've tested it myself. I really like to take things from my garden and propagate them, which means taking cuttings or collecting the seed. And in this case, I've done a few things. Propagate a lot of hardy geraniums. This time of year they're starting to pass, but they make a really nice ground cover, and they also bloom all summer, which is really nice. And so I sell quite a bit of that in the nursery. There's tons of varieties of hardy geraniums. A lot of people think geraniums are just the big red ones that you put in your pots for the summer, but no, there are lots of varieties that are available and good in this zone. So Vancouver Island and as low as Zone 3, which is up in Kamloops and Kelowna. So, and I'm experimenting with different kinds of peach trees. The peaches are espaliered against the wall, so they get full sun and they're under an eave. And there's 7 varieties here, so they come at different times of the year. So I have a continuous crop of peaches, but I also did this to experiment what peaches do best in our zone on southern Vancouver Island, because you see peaches in the Okanagan and they're full growing, luscious big trees. Here they have to be underneath because they suffer from something called peach leaf curl.
Included in the experimental garden project are plants that are drought resistant, can flourish in microclimates, and tolerate climate change. Carrie works with a biologist and includes soil analysis in her research. This area of research is something Carrie particularly enjoys and hopes to expand on the program. She's also dabbling in areas which will allow her to still enjoy her passion for gardening, but in a smaller way as she ages. And she now carries a variety of smaller plants that are ideal for bonsai or smaller gardens.
So this is called Silver Show. It's a new cultivar of a fir. It's a Korean fir, and this is its natural habit to have the needles curl in on itself. And it stays that nice silvery color year round, and it produces purple upright cones. This is a really nice specimen for, say, bonsai, or for a patio garden, or for small garden, because it only grows to 5 feet in 10 years.
And her ideas continue to flourish, if you will. Not only is she going smaller, Carrie is also thinking of opening her property to weddings, and we can't argue that her setting is ideal. For Carrie and many others at her stage of life, retirement is no longer about retiring from life or work. Carrie is a perfect model of an active retiree pursuing a passion or hobby in retirement that turns into a viable business. Being an entrepreneur is new to her, but she's using her past skills, connections, experiences, and passions to drive her business to success. For Carrie, at this time in her life, her love for what she's doing overrides her ability to make money doing it.
I have a horticultural friend that told me, you should specialize. And the only way you ever make money is specialize. And I said, oh, well, what should I specialize in? And he says, oh, shrubs, evergreen shrubs, because everybody wants evergreen shrubs. Anyway, I said, that is so boring. I cannot do that. So I have everything I see, I think, oh, I love that. I've got to have it.
The nursery industry in BC is a successful and dynamic sector of the province's horticultural industry. British Columbia is the second largest producer of nursery stock in Canada and accounts for about a third of national production. We're going to continue to see more and more senior entrepreneurs get into business and stay in business as the baby boomer population moves into retirement. Gardening can add zeal and increase energy levels for older adults, while also increasing physical activity. In a time when older adults are living longer and enjoying more free time, gardening offers the opportunity to reconnect with themselves through nature while enhancing their quality of life. After all, an addiction to gardening is not all bad when you consider all the other choices in life.